I had a good way of like, if we got so big one day that we like, do you want me to move?
No, you're good.
Okay. If we got so big one day that we were like, I feel like I need to look at you. How did we do this before?
What do you mean?
Did we ever look at each other during the podcast?
Yeah.
I want to do this thing where we, like, you know how bingo is? I got into bingo, like, at the baby shower. That was, like, my thing. But, like, I call out random numbers, and if you actually are watching the entire thing and you can, like, repeat the numbers back, then you, like, win a prize. But that would only be if, like, we, like, got so big that we actually had people who watched.
So cool.
Bingo's lit. If you know, you know.
Man.
I got so into bingo, like, 2 weeks ago. It was the first time I had ever played, like, competitively.
I don't think there's a such
It was
thing.
competitive.
I don't think there's such thing as
It
competitive.
was competitive. It was super competitive. It was
I'm gonna be
super
honest.
competitive.
There's no such thing as competitive bingo.
My friend's family is not the definition of not competitive. It was fun. Okay.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Oh, look, we got merch. Nice tumbler, dude.
I got merch. It's my podcast. I'm Priya. This is F1 My Life podcast.
I'm Cam.
It's my podcast.
Yeah, sure.
You have your business. I have mine.
Yeah, is this your business?
No, I do nothing. I just show up. I don't even get paid.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I'm dimming the light a little bit. I think it's a little too harsh, so I'm gonna dim it down a little bit. Yeah, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I feel like every other podcast we do is like, oh, we took a break and now we're back. But
We're back.
No, we took a much needed break. Every time there's a major life change, and we don't really talk too much about our life, other than like
I want to talk about my life. He doesn't let me.
we have a kid and stuff. But like,
And a dog.
I mean, it's the internet, you know. You don't know who's on the internet.
We have a kid and a dog. It's not like...
Yeah, but I mean, we had like other life changes going on and everything. Almost every time you have like a major life change, it's hard to do
Adjust.
like the other fun things you want to do in your life.
But then you adjust and
Yeah.
you figure out time for it. And we took the break to like really miss Formula One. Like I missed Formula One. We were jonesing for it so hard.
Yeah.
And then
It's life though. You have to prioritize the things that matter in your
Yeah.
life when they matter,
and
right?
sometimes like when your child
Yeah.
is growing.
But it's not that we don't love F1 or don't want to do the podcast, but we're gonna try to definitely stay on top
We're
of
going
it,
to
I
do
think.
24 for 24 this year. It's
That's
going to
gonna be-
happen.
That'll be awesome.
24 for 24.
Yeah.
It's like an ungodly hour right now.
Yeah.
But
It's-
anyways.
you know what I found hilarious is we stopped podcasting in probably one of the like biggest F1 news
Seasons?
news years
Ever? I know. But we followed it.
Like
I mean,
one of the biggest being like obviously like Lewis Hamilton signing with Ferrari. That was huge news, and we stopped. I think that he signed that like well before.
he signed that at the beginning
Sorry, well after. Was it the beginning?
of 2024. He signed it.
Did we not podcast all last season?
We didn't podcast a lot.
Last season?
We didn't. We did and we
No,
didn't.
I don't think we.
Well, maybe
covered...
it was after summer. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it wasn't at the. It was. Yeah, it wasn't.
No, you're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, because I know for sure we didn't podcast about that. So, yeah, we fell off a little bit, and then it was just life was just kind of nuts, and we couldn't keep up with it. But now we're back.
We still can't keep up with it, but it's fine, like, whatever.
We'll try.
Today we were like, are we going to podcast? But then it's kind of like when you don't work out for the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
You just don't do it. It's like if we didn't podcast today, we would see you in 2026.
It's not easy with like everything we have going on, a kid, jobs, like actual responsibilities. Like it takes to be honest, the time that we podcast is literally like some of the only downtime we have. So if you're watching this, just know that
you're welcome.
That we're like sacrificing if you have kids and everything and you work like full days and whatnot, like you know how precious that time is. And this is on top of taking care of ourselves and meals and all those things, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
But it's fun and it's something we love to do, and that's why we would do it, and we show up and we talk to ourselves and our 3 viewers.
We
Hey,
have a lot
Beanie.
more than that. We have I
She's
know we
Beanie's-
should just be sad though. No, don't call people out because then you're gonna be waiting to hear back from them. And be like, oh, and then you like never hear back, and you're like, oh, those people don't even listen to my podcast either.
Oh my god. No, I think we have more than 3. We
I
have
don't know.
like
We'll
6.
see, man. Honestly, a lot of people don't watch like the whole thing.
No.
They watch us on Instagram
Instagram
or
or
TikTok
TikTok,
or
yeah.
whatever it is.
TikTok.
Right, TikTok.
So happy we missed TikTok.
I'm like messing with my. Yeah, man. TikTok's
band.
still in the U.S.
Yeah, but it's
still
also
there.
here,
Yeah,
right?
still in Canada. Yeah.
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 We're in Canada now.
Yeah, they knew that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They knew the 3 people. I
Dude.
just spit.
Dude.
We have so much to talk about.
Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
Where do we?
I don't even know where we start. I'm so excited.
I got notes. I don't know if you do.
My
but
notes
we
are up
can
in my
start.
brain.
I think the biggest thing was Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari.
Okay, so yes, I think that that's a huge thing. I just want to like blanket get it out there. Half the grid is new. Like the class of 2025 is like a little unrecognizable between people changing teams and between I am so awkward. Like I don't know where to put my eyes anymore.
What do you mean?
Between like people changing teams and between like Lewis, obviously, like people being let go. It was a lot. Like Perez is gone, Lawson's there, like Daniel's no longer there, which we knew obviously. Like Bottas is gone, like I know that that's like not big to some people, but it's like or like Joe is gone.
Bottas is a reserve driver.
But he's not on the grid, okay?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
out of the like come on, they have like 30 reserve drivers for Alpine or something like that. Don't you
True,
remember? Like there's
true.
like how many reserve drivers do you need? Mick's obviously not on the grid. I mean, he should. And then we've got like Cadillac coming. It's overwhelming.
Oh yeah, that's another news story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you tell us where to start because I'm gonna just.
I mean, I think the biggest news story is like Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an interesting move. And it's funny because I feel like even he himself said that same year, he's like, I don't see myself going to another team. Like I'm with Mercedes and I'm planning to like finish with Mercedes. Like that's what he said. And then next thing you know, like I don't know, it wasn't even that shortly after he's like, it's the announcement that he's moving to Ferrari. And the interesting thing with Merc is like I think what happened is they were on like that downturn. Like they were not doing well at all. And I think at that time Lewis was like, okay, it's time to like literally jump ship. And I think at the time when he was like talking to Ferrari and they gave him an offer and all that, they started doing like better and better and better. And then he signed and they did even better and better. And now, judging based on the first race of the season, like they didn't. I mean, then again, like you got to give.
They did
something.
well.
That race is kind of an anomaly. Let's put it that way. But I'm just wondering if, like, I don't know why you have such. It confuses me when you have faces. I like hear the face.
He loses his train of thought when I talk to him, and he loses his train of thought when I move my face. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna do this.
No, it's interesting because I'm not sure. Last year Ferrari had a better car, right?
Than
Clearly.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if maybe, like, overall, I'm just wondering if he made the right move.
You're like literally like 89% of like Formula One fans right now. You're just like, oh, I don't know. Based on like the first race, there was rain everywhere. Everyone crashed. I think like only like 15 people finished the race. 14 people. I don't even know how many people finished the race at this point.
Yeah.
And half of them were rookies that like didn't finish. And then like I just think that's so what we know of Formula One is the season is not defined by just a car. It's defined by the driver. It's defined by the circumstances.
True.
It's defined by everything. Like, what was it? Kick Sauber has exceeded the number of points in one race than they got the entire 24 races last year. So like,
That's a hilarious stat.
it's an insane stat.
I
They
love
got
that
6
for
points.
them. I love that for
I
them.
love it for them. I love it for Hulkenberg, but like, and Bordatello. But like, I think that you're basing, like, Even, and I don't even like George Russell. I'm having a hard time I'm like very aggressive right now. George Russell, I don't like him. I
I don't know
still don't
why.
like him.
I don't understand why you hate George
But
Russell so much.
this is annoying.
Hey man, why you hate
And
him?
like the microwave or the microphone, like
Tossing it back
it's a
and forth.
lot, you know? But you did good, Georgie. You know, you got on podium. But like even he, like I have to like give respect where respect is due. In the hardest of situations last year, I said something like, okay, he didn't even really like earn his position, but he got on podium. He was in the right place at the right time. And that pushed Mercedes to be the third finishers. Like they were third in the constructors, right?
Yeah.
So, or fourth. They literally got that because of circumstance. So, first things first, you have one race under your belt, which is nothing. Ferrari feels like they're on the back foot right now. They feel like they did not have a good race. They feel like they're on the back foot. I think their strategy sucks. And also, I think that, like, I don't know, there's something going on with their car. Second of all, Mercedes and Ferrari are kind of at the same level because George is a seasoned driver and Charles in his car is a seasoned driver.
True.
I think Mercedes is on even a more back foot because Bortatello's a new Formula One driver.
Bortatello,
Or sorry,
Santinelli.
Antonelli. Antonelli is a new Formula One driver. And Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time world champion. So, like,
Yeah.
he's getting used to, but it's like balance. Like, he's getting used to a new car. And Antonelli is like so young and malleable that maybe he'll be a Piastri and he'll be like really great. Or maybe he'll suck like who sucks? Yuki?
You're never gonna fill the shoes of a Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
There, like Lewis Hamilton is a one of one. I think Mercedes, and we're jumping around. We're not really jumping around. We're still talking about Lewis, but like I think Mercedes made a mistake in.
Shafting Lewis.
No, I mean, Lewis leaving was not in their control. He was going to leave regardless. Like, that was his own decision. But, like, Toto had the decision of who was the number one and who was the number two driver. And it's hard because, like, George, George Russell wants to be, like, he wanted that position. He wanted to be, like, the number one driver or whatever you want to call it. Like, he likes that, importance in F1. I mean, I was saying this, I said this in one of actually, I think the last podcast that we did, they should have signed Carlos Sainz.
That much is like everyone should have signed Carlos Sainz.
And even in Drive to Survive, like, you remember they were in the press conference and Lewis is like, hey, Toto talk to you? And he's like, no, not yet. He's like, huh. And like, the telling thing about that is not that, oh, Lewis is such a, like, yeah, he's a great guy, he's looking out for Carlos, but as an F1 driver, he's like, why wouldn't Mercedes sign Carlos? That's what I gathered from that.
Okay, let me go back to your thing about like the not treating him like one driver, whatever. Like kind of, so Lewis went through something after he lost his championship, like after 2021. He
Yeah.
went through like the demise of his soul or something like that. Like he just crumbled, which is to be expected,
So
right?
aggressive. So
It was,
aggressive to put
first
it
of
that
all,
way.
COVID was 2020, and that wrecked a lot of drivers' like mentality from what I've read and what I've heard. Because even though they were racing, it was incredibly different. It was incredibly isolating for everybody, obviously, but the racing changed during that time.
Yeah.
2021 happened, so you're trying to push through all of that, and you've got someone riding your butt, Max Verstappen, and it comes down to a very, very pivotal last lap. And then after that, like 2022, he just kind of broke. And then I think 2023 was like the further demise. 2024, it's like he was trying to come back a little bit, but he didn't have a great car. George Russell said the car wasn't great either. But I think instead of pulling more, like that 12 years that they poured into him, I think that they stopped pouring time into Lewis. And then like Angela was gone too, right? So like his right-hand girl was gone.
Yeah.
And everything that tied him there, like his one-on-one relationship with Toto, the ability to lead a team, like all of those things that tied him there just broke. So do I think he was going to leave regardless? Yes, I think he was going to leave regardless. Do I think that they pushed him out and like really opened the door and was like, get the F out of here? Yes, I do feel like that's what they did. And then Toto's acting all surprised, like with the announcement and just like the fact that he was going to drive for Ferrari. I think that there was like there was a lot of steps that were missed when we say like Lewis just kind of left. And then when it comes to, I lost my train of thought.
When it comes to
Carlos Sainz, like that's a story of stupidity everywhere. Like Christian should have signed him. Liam's obviously not going to do much better than Perez. You know, if you go based off the first race, which we shouldn't. Toto is going to be like scratching his own head. Like, why didn't you sign Carlos? I'm just wondering, like, why those two top teams, like McLaren has two amazing drivers. Like, why would they sign him? Why didn't Carlos got podiums? He got P1s last year.
Yeah.
He won races,
yeah.
like multiple races.
Yeah. I don't necessarily understand the Carlos Sainz move.
Does he?
I mean, Carlos was talking to other teams. We know for a fact, even without Drive to Survive, we knew he was speaking to Mercedes.
But what happened?
That didn't work out.
But why?
I mean,
How does Carlos get shafted over Antonelli? How does Liam Lawson, who I'm sorry, okay, fine, Antonelli, like you did great. Like I understand
it's only
that.
one race though. Like we can't really judge the whole like.
But okay, this is my issue. Why would Red Bull not develop their car in 2025, knowing fully well they weren't going to develop their car, knowing fully well that Max is coming, so Max
That's
left.
word on the street.
Max like left
Yeah.
this season on the back foot, right? McLaren had caught up and like exceeded Red Bull at the end. That's why they were able to cinch the constructors and Max was only able to get the drivers' championship. So if you know that you have two amazing drivers with McLaren, like insanely amazing drivers, and you have one amazing driver for Red Bull, and you have a man who's won podiums, and then you have Liam Lawson, I don't understand the logic of signing Liam Lawson. Screw Toto Wolff and Mercedes. I just don't understand what Red Bull was thinking.
I think honestly they were thinking they need to get Perez out of that car.
But why not Carlos? Like, and maybe Carlos didn't want it because of all the stupidry that happened last year with Christian.
That's the only thing I can think is maybe Carlos said,
I don't want to be second best.
I mean, we don't know if, like, the thing is, we're not team principals. We don't know how all these things work. Like, maybe they see certain things in certain drivers that they like or don't like, or, you know, because Carlos used to be a Red Bull driver.
Is it because Helmut's a little racist?
Way back in the day.
You know, it's probably because he's a little racist. He didn't want another, like, Latin American.
Yeah, another Hispanic
I
person.
just thought of that.
That's crazy. That's
right?
wild.
Because he would say horrible
man.
things about Perez.
Hey man, Helmut, we've done our bit on Helmut, man. That's a dude. He's got some old man energy. Helmut's got some solid old man energy.
Geriatric man energy.
Like legit old man energy.
What does he even do?
He's a vibe though, you know. Sometimes, you know, you need somebody like Helmut
He's like
around.
him and the Sauber guy, principal.
Oh my god. That
Together?
new guy?
Yeah.
I don't even know his name.
I don't know, man. The guy with the crazy blonde hair. I love him.
That guy's given me like, what's his name?
I can't remember his name.
You know, that Indian, who was that Indian
Oh yeah,
guy?
yeah. The one who did
He's giving
Force
me,
India. Yeah.
Yeah, he's giving me those kind of vibes.
Yeah, those three together,
Yeah.
done.
The
like,
Kingfisher guy.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget his name.
Dude, the three of them together.
Vinny or Vinny or something? Vinay? I don't know.
Vinesh.
I don't know, man. That dude, he's got the same kind of hair too.
Yeah, they all have crazy hair, and like so it's a brown guy, like an Eastern European guy, and Helmut's what, like German?
Yeah.
It's like a
These
joke.
dudes are just like, I don't know where they find these characters. It's ridiculous. But let's see what happens.
That's probably why Carlos didn't get an offer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know, the Williams looks very promising. In Australia,
Yeah.
I mean, and everything we say in this podcast is like with a huge asterisk because wet races are like, they can sometimes flip the whole grid upside down.
They did flip the whole grid upside down.
So the pace we saw to some people might not be true. But I mean, given like, look,
Stroll finished the race. Like, how does that make sense?
I know. How are we? No, not only that, he finished
He
P
points.
six.
He finished in points.
He finished P6. Are you kidding?
Maple syrup finished.
No, P6?
I know.
That was one story I like I saw it come across Instagram or some shit, and I was like, they were talking about it. They're like, how is nobody talking about this?
Nobody cares about Lance Stroll. Everyone
Lance
hates him.
Stroll, that's an impressive finish for the guy.
It's not. It's not it's fine. It's an impressive finish that he finished and that he was not what the fact. You know what? Not the fact that he finished. The fact that he.
Mike, turn the other way.
Oh, flip.
The fact that he finished what?
The fact that he finished at all
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
You're just gonna hold it.
I don't know. That seems really awkward.
Why
Okay,
don't
wait.
you just clip it on properly?
Okay.
Dun, 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 technical difficulties. No,
No, okay. No, the fact that he finished and that he wasn't one of the reasons that like the
why are you doing that?
isn't that what it sounds like? The fact that he finished and that he wasn't one of the reasons
Yeah.
that like the cars crashed is dumb. Stroll always likes to crash into people.
Yeah.
He's the one we can count on.
And you know what's crazy in that race? Out of all the people who just like literally slip off the track for no reason at all, Lance Stroll didn't do it. Maybe
Not once, maybe.
Hey, maybe we got a new Lance Stroll this season.
Oh no, I hope it's not.
Maybe it's time to buy some Austin gear. You know, get your Canadian flags
I
out.
hope not, man. That means
Elbows
it's like
up,
gonna
you
be
know?
Isaac. I don't want it to be Isaac. Poor guy. Dude, yeah, Canada. We need that for the tariffs.
Yeah, dude.
We need maple syrup to get this like
Let's do
together.
it.
Can we start calling him maple syrup?
Maple
Is that
syrup?
derogatory?
Maple syrup Stroll.
Did you see
It sounds
that?
kind
We
of.
didn't see
It
him.
sounds kind of.
Yeah.
Raunchy.
We
I don't know if we should.
we didn't hear about him at all.
Who's
They didn't.
Stroll?
Yeah, like Fernando went
But
off
there
the
was
track.
so much craziness going on. The race was so good.
And
But
like the funniest thing is that this also shows his true colors. He's not a rookie. I can't believe he didn't put it in the wall actually. But
Okay,
Antonelli,
I don't want this whole podcast to just be about
but Antonelli,
Lance Stroll.
Antonelli finished fourth.
yeah, Antonelli. Yeah, but
And
then
then
again, wet race.
Albon.
Wet race.
The rookie kept it on the track.
Yeah,
He's the only
wet
rookie.
Race ting, wet race ting. You know.
He was the only rookie who kept it on the track.
Yeah.
Go Antonelli.
Wet race ting.
Oh my God.
Another thing I wanted to actually talk about because we're just droning on over here.
What are your notes?
What about that one right there? Angela Cullen is back.
I was gonna say that.
You know?
I was gonna say that. I don't write my notes down anymore because I feel like you take them, and I feel
I
like
don't.
I think you read them in the middle of the night.
I don't take them.
I am so paranoid
There.
that you read my
This
notes.
is not a competition. It's just a podcast that 2.5 people watch.
It's my podcast. Thank you for this. Krista.
Angela came back, and I felt like I called it. Like I feel like I called it. Like they're not talking
You did.
about what happened, but I was saying I was like I think there's some dissension in Mercedes because around the same time like Lewis started to he started to speak out and like show attitude and like I remember that distinctly. I'm like I think Angela left because like somebody at Mercedes kind of like or something happened where they're like yeah you gotta go.
Yeah.
And she went because it's funny he changes teams and all of a sudden she's back.
I mean,
And they made it all up like oh she wanted to people. Here's the thing: when people want to like hide what the real truth of everything. Oh, I needed like some time off and like I wanted to explore other things and da da. It's like no, like there was probs. You got out of there. Now that Mercedes is out of the picture, you're back.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
that's what happened. There was a lot. There was a lot of tension in the paddock. I used that last year, but there was. I'm happy she's back. I'm happy she's coming back. I didn't see her on on Sunday.
I didn't see her.
Did she come already back?
Yeah, I mean she's with him.
Oh,
Maybe given like maybe she's gonna skip a few races because we don't know where she's based, right?
or maybe she like doesn't want to be on camera anymore.
Or you don't know what her.
I mean, that's
No, I
hard.
don't know if that's like
That's hard.
really allowed. I think if you're in the paddock, like all bets are off.
Yeah.
But it could depend maybe because they're in Australia, then they're going to China. Maybe if she's based out of like the U.S., I don't know where she's from or whatever, but like the U.S.
She's in
or
the
England.
UK.
Yeah, maybe she just like maybe he has her contracted for certain races or
Yeah.
certain things or
He's
whatever.
making big money, so Angela, you're getting good money now.
Yeah,
which is
so
good.
yeah, but yeah, you know,
Speaking of Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, his race engineer and him
Dude, he was getting
were jokes.
he was hey man, I get there's like an adjustment period, but he was like he was telling this dude off in the car.
Can you imagine though, somebody in your ear the entire time you're trying to drive like 290 kilometers an hour?
I just feel like
Or
Lewis was like
192.
this goddamn Ferrari strategy, I swear to God. Like just leave me alone. You guys don't know what you're doing. Just build the car, let me drive it, and like leave me literally you said leave me to it.
But the thing that is so amazing, and the thing that Carlos Sainz does wonderfully, and that, I mean, Ferrari really lost that on him, is, and other drivers do this too, Max does this, and Lewis does this. It was like, duh. He will tell his own strategy. He knows the car enough, Lewis.
Yeah.
Max will do this as well. And Carlos did it for Albon, because even though Carlos put it in the wall because the conditions were crap, he made the call to bring Albon in when they did to get him on inters. And Albon even says this, that is what caused him to get P5.
Yeah.
Like, the ability to, I think it's amazing. Everyone's like, oh, I feel so bad for the race engineer. I don't feel bad for him. It's a relationship, right? You have to learn. All of the race engineers are used to, I'm yelling, are used to like a little bit of shit, right? Because like Formula One drivers are very hard-headed, right? They're very competitive. But I'm sure Bono is going through this with Antonelli too. You have to like learn how to talk to that person. Like, again, like what do they like? What do they not like? What do they need? What do they not need? They're almost like Ferrari's almost treating for Hamilton like he's like a new driver, which is ridiculous because he's a 7-time world champion. So I think that it's good, and I think that when it's going to click for Lewis, and the one thing he has that Charles doesn't is confidence. Charles still questions himself. He does have some confidence, but Charles is just not. He's an amazing driver, but he is not a Formula One world champion. He's not. And he won't be. And it's just sad.
Ever, you
He
think?
won't be. Charles will not, because Charles is not as good as Lewis. He's not as good as Max. And he's not as good as Oscar, and he's not as good as Lando. And those four are going to anyone
Dominate.
else.
Oscar's
here,
a killer.
Oscar is like
He
if
was
Lando's
so
not there,
impressive.
Oscar's there. If Oscar's not there, Lando's there. And if the two of them mess up, it's Max. And like I don't know how Lewis is gonna do in the Ferrari, but like between the four of them and then maybe George Russell, like there is no room for Charles Leclerc in his season and generation of driving. But like, thanks for the memories and like the Spotify music.
Yeah, I was incredibly impressed by Oscar Piastri, especially. I mean, he raced Lewis wheel to wheel through a chicane. So sick in the rain. This guy's so talented. Every race I see with Oscar pulling off like these crazy moves, I become more and more impressed with him. And he reminds me so much of Max.
Yeah.
He really does.
He
Reminds
does.
me so much of Max Verstappen. I'm interested to see where he goes.
I'm so heartbroken for him.
Yeah.
Going off the track. Ugh.
Yeah, that was tough, but it happens in wet races. But a championship, a constructors is not 1/1 race.
No, it's not. But
Takes a whole season.
It just sucked because it was his home race.
One other thing I wanted to talk about is there's a mandatory two-stop for Monaco now.
I'm so excited.
I think they had to do that, man.
It was so boring.
Look, I get it. Monaco's like a really fun, like it's that race. It's iconic, and it's got like all the prestige and money and celebrity and everything surrounded around it. But like, let's be real. It is one of the most boring races on the calendar.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. Nobody's going to argue it. So I think doing a mandatory two-stop might mix it up a little bit.
It will mix it up, especially because it's also like those like narrow chicanes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Charles, I also don't know how it took you that long to win that race because it's literally like one car. But that was mean.
You have I think Monaco's one of the hardest races of the year.
No, it is and it isn't.
It
like,
is.
Because
Are you
quality is
kidding?
hard. No,
No,
quality is hard.
no.
No.
You're brushing barriers the entire. I'm sorry. It's one of the hardest races. The thing is, here's the thing. I get it. They want to make it more exciting. The only way you can do that is if you add more pit stops, which they're doing, or you change the layout of the track, which
Which
they
they're
are
not
never
gonna do.
going to do. Because with an
You're
iconic race like Monaco, like you know that one chicane they have just before the tunnel,
Yeah.
like you can eliminate that and make it a straight and make that whole thing one big area to
Pass.
pass.
Yeah, but they're
Make it
not
all
going to.
DRS, but I think with the history and everything with Monaco, they're not going to change that. So, I mean, let's see what happens with the two stopper.
Yeah.
Sometimes pit stops don't do anything, but
I
like,
mean, it'll just add error
let's see, man.
into the thing. It'll add human error
Let's
into
see.
it.
Let's see what they do. Let's see if it makes.
And strategy, because strategy is what killed like Ferrari this time, right?
Yeah.
Ferrari got killed on their strategy. They were P1 and P2 or P2 and P3 at one point,
Yeah.
and then they dropped down to like the last of the points. So it does come down to strategy. I shouldn't say that it's like an easy race. It's just you're right. It's incredibly boring.
Yeah.
And this might kind of spice it up. I love though that so it's interesting. Yesterday was interesting, the Australia race, because it had all the elements of like fanfare and also like
Debauchery.
You had rain. You had the first race, right, where everyone's like excited and wanting to see F1, and then you throw in like so many rookies. That is like the perfect recipe for disaster. Rain,
Yeah.
first race, rookies.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, and I feel so bad saying this. Like, Hadger puts it in the wall. Science puts it in the wall. I mean, I don't even remember who came after that, because it just, like, I think Bordatello crashed a little bit or, like, got spun around. At one point, Alpine was, like, spun around. Charles spun around. Everyone spun at least once on that track yesterday, even if
Yeah.
you didn't get out. So it was, like, it's kind of like a wash. Like, it doesn't really tell us anything.
It doesn't. Wet
About the
races.
paces of the
Wet
car.
races are just like that. You can't really learn much.
Yeah. I don't appreciate the tone and the pace at which you're changing things.
What? Like
Because
going
you're
through
like,
the.
yeah. And so it's like the transitions
You
are
don't.
so
You don't.
cringe.
You don't want to
man.
like. I mean, you don't. You can't like. Topics.
Don't
you
tell
can't.
me what I can and can't do on
You
my
can't
podcast.
like. You can't like beat them to death here.
I can.
Um.
Christian Horner from last year, he's still a playboy. Did you hear about him?
No.
His like trial that's going to like British press. So British press wasn't allowed to. Don't sigh like that. It's so telling. Everyone wants to know the tea. Christian Horner was not necessarily like released of all allegations. British press was not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
So he's Benotti.
I don't even know.
Benotti, Benotto. Where is Benotto? Where is he?
He was in the Kick Sauber garage.
I didn't see him yesterday.
Yeah, they showed him on
They
the
shoot him?
They showed him on the broadcast.
You're so
He was in
Canadian.
there. They shoot him on
They
the
shoot him on a boat.
broadcast.
So what is he now then?
I don't know what he is on that team.
'Cause
But
he's not
he's there.
But he's not the team principal.
No. I don't know what he's doing. Um
Cadillac.
what
They should bring
else?
Vettel back.
I found it interesting. I mean, this is a quick topic, but in Drive to Survive, they showed that Toto Wolff was interested in Verstappen, but
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton said, no, you can't talk to him.
No, I looked into this. You're wrong. And I told you this when we did Drive to Survive too. Lewis Hamilton said up until that time, don't talk to Max.
Yeah.
He didn't say, oh, I'm signing with Ferrari, you can't talk to Max. He didn't say that.
But why would he say that regardless?
Because what Toto was trying to tell his wife, Susie, is I haven't talked to Max yet because of my relationship with Lewis, but now I can.
Okay.
That's what the comprehension of that was.
All right. I guess that makes sense.
But I explained that to
But
you.
talking to other drivers is talking to other drivers. I don't
But
know.
Toto
It's
and
weird.
Lewis were like oddly like it was weird. Their
Yeah.
relationship was a little much.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, maybe Drive to Survive, like, finesse that.
They
quite
finessed a
bit.
lot.
They
Are you
finessed a lot
kidding?
of stuff. Yeah.
Do you think that Max and Norris are still going to be friends at the end of the season?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think Max has a lot of friends.
I
I
don't,
hate to say it.
whatever.
I think Lando is one of the few friends that he probably has.
I don't think Max cares.
Yeah.
What I think is that is going to be really interesting is I think that Max is not even really competitive enough right now with his car. After like what I saw yesterday, which again was just the first race in rain, to even like contend with the McLarens.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a baby. So he's not going to be able to sim as much.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that affects his racing life.
I'm so curious. As a
Yeah.
mom, I'm so curious. Like what a father driver world champion will go through.
What is gonna happen?
I am like really interested to see where like Cadillac goes and who they recruit. Like are they
Oh
gonna
yeah, who
recruit
are they gonna
like
sign?
rookies, or are they gonna get like
No, they're gonna want an established driver. I wonder if this brings Perez back.
God, I hope not. Perez just needs to be done. Perez just needs to be done. You know what? Actually, no. I take that back. I take that
And
back
that's
in the
gonna
same breath.
and that's gonna be an 11th team.
I've heard that Red Bull, and now with Helmet, like I actually take it back
Helmut.
completely. Like that environment must have not been very good. You know, and maybe Perez, because Perez is a great driver. We've seen him come back from like, we've seen him be a beast of a driver. So maybe he just needs like a different opportunity. How cool would it be if it was like Perez and Daniel? That'd be an interesting lineup.
I would love to see Daniel Ricciardo come back in
Yeah.
Audi. I mean, like, how many comebacks can he have? I guarantee you he'll come back.
What about Vettel? I just keep hearing
No,
Vettel's
Vettel's
name.
done. No, Vettel's done.
I think that the
But
environment.
Daniel Ricciardo?
I think Vettel's like
Imagine-
F1 kills the environment too much.
Dude, imagine if Daniel Ricciardo comes back and just dominates. It's like a crazy ass, like, amazing car.
I would love that for him. I don't know. I don't feel like his story was done. I feel like Fernando's story is done, but he didn't think it was done, but it is done. But he's just the color. He's just the geriatric.
Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, he's just the color of the.
Yeah.
He's like the Vettel. Like we love him, but he's done. Like he's a world champion, but he's done.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard to tell. Like, I'm just kind of overarching here. Like, with this particular race we saw in Australia, first race of the season, cars are going to develop. It was a wet race. It's hard to judge anything
Yeah.
based on just that. But I think it's going to be.
Except that McLaren is strong as F.
Yeah, they are.
McLaren is the only thing I know from Australia.
I mean, Verstappen, hey man, they were neck and neck with Verstappen. Verstappen finished within 1 second. He finished the race within 1 second of Norris.
But that was
He
only
was
because of the
on
safety
him.
car. No, that was only because of the safety car.
True.
It had because he was 17 seconds behind Piastri, who was behind Norris.
Yeah, true.
You have to take into consideration those things.
No, obviously.
So,
but
like-
still, that's a super exciting way to finish a race.
It is an exciting way to finish the race, but
And
it's
he
an
had a
anomaly.
couple looks.
It's an
He had a
anomaly,
couple looks
yeah.
on him.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm confident about one thing in Australia, I don't think I have anything else. I still think Ferrari can make a huge comeback. I still think Mercedes can make a huge comeback. I still think that Max can make a huge comeback. Hell, even Liam Lawson can make a huge comeback. I think all of those things are possible, but what I know for a fact is that McLaren is strong as anything. And the one thing that I'm excited to see this year is McLaren have to Zach
You're like looking
Brown
at me so aggressive.
have to make a
talking.
decision about his number one driver.
No, they already did. It's Lando. But the question I have is if Oscar starts to outperform him, does he become the number one?
That's what I'm saying, because we do another Mercedes situation with Bottas and Lewis.
But I don't know if that'll happen.
But like Bottas, I don't even know is as good as like
Yeah,
Oscar.
McLaren is in a bit of a sticky situation where they have two solid drivers there who can like both win races like I know that like for constructors that's what you want,
Yeah.
but for a championship and for a team it gets really dicey.
Yeah, it gets a
Like
little
really
messy.
dicey. Yeah.
Which is interesting because what were we just talking about with like picking their driver?
Audi.
Like no, Mercedes did this.
Yeah.
Like Mercedes picked a driver, and did they pick right? Did they pick wrong? Did they pour the resources? I mean, once they knew
And
that Lewis was
Antonelli?
leaving, no, once they knew Lewis was leaving, they poured everything into George.
Yeah.
But they were pouring into George before that even. It's like when you make that decision, it really changes the dynamics as well. And like you just have to be very careful. Antonelli knows he's the second driver. Even Liam knows he's the second driver. If he doesn't, like I don't know. I don't like Liam Lawson. I just realized that.
Wow. Don't even
That's
know the
why.
guy.
He reminds me too much of George Russell.
Does he?
Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't have to personally like him. The other person I'm really excited to see develop is I'm excited to see what next year brings for Carlos Sainz and for Alex Albon. Alex has been with the he's been with Williams. Like him and George were together at Williams, and George became an incredibly strong driver because of his time at Williams. Like I can honestly say that.
Yeah, he did.
Albon though takes all of that experience and then also just this like amazing energy, and he deserves a better car.
I feel like Albon's race IQ is incredibly high.
Yeah.
I think his race IQ is incredibly high, and it's showing.
Yeah.
And I think these next 2-3 seasons, he's really gonna show. He's like stepping into his prime
Yeah.
as a driver. So I'm excited to see what he does. And I think him and Carlos are gonna do damage in that.
I
team.
hope so. I really hope, not for Vowels or anyone else's sake, I really hope for Carlos Sainz and Albon because they are a very interesting pairing. They don't seem like they're antagonizing each other.
No. It seems like they want to just
Very
like
symbiotic,
win. They want the team to win, and
I feel like
That's awesome.
Williams did a really good job in securing Carlos Sainz for that reason. So like shouts to Vowels for doing that. And I wonder if maybe that team dynamic is what Carlos felt like it was better than going to the shit show that is Red Bull, and better than, I just choked on my own spit. Being
you almost drowned.
I did.
Did you almost drown?
Like being second to George Russell, right? Like maybe he just didn't see that as his future.
Yeah.
But I wonder what kind of team Carlos would want. Like if he could, like, because it's not going to be McLaren. Like what team? I mean, unless this is
I think
Williams'
McLaren.
comeback.
I feel like McLaren suited Carlos a lot.
It did, but every time Carlos just gets keep getting kicked out of his teams. He
Yeah.
never. It's never him who's pushing someone out.
You know, and this is the tricky thing, and like Carlos is at risk of going down the same route as Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Like, man, you got to make these moves like very calculated and very like you got to make sure they're the right moves, or you could just tumble all the way down like Daniel did. But I think I really have a
Daniel
feeling.
did this to Sainz. Daniel started this whole thing for Carlos.
Oh, damn Daniel Ricciardo.
Did you ever think of that?
It's true.
Daniel kicked him out of Renault, and then
Was he in Renault?
yes, he was.
Dude, I can't remember, but I knew Carlos. He jumped from, who was he with? McLaren. Who's he with before McLaren? I can't
Renault.
remember.
He was
No,
with
he
Red
didn't-
Bull.
No, I don't even remember. I can't remember. I just remember Carlos from McLaren, and then he went to Ferrari.
Oh yeah, he was with
I don't know
McLaren.
why
Sorry,
it's-
he was
I don't
with
know-
Lando.
I don't know why it's like slipping my mind.
But then Daniel Ricciardo keeps kicking him out of his seat. He was with Renault, and then Carlos got pushed, and then like Daniel was like, I want to go to McLaren. So then Carlos got pushed,
God.
and then now Lewis is like, I want to be in Ferrari. So Carlos got pushed. It's all Daniel's fault.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. But the thing is, I'm hopeful for Williams this
Yeah, I
season.
am.
They look really good. They look really fast.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah.
Hadjar?
Yeah.
Isaac Hadjar?
Yeah.
Hadjar?
Hajar.
He's French, right?
I think so.
The whole, like, with him crashing out and, like, Anthony Hamilton, like, that whole
Helmet's
thing.
a piece of shit. Helmet goes, he's an embarrassment. But
No, he said that
Anthony-
was pretty embarrassing.
Because
that
it
he
was
was crying.
embarrassing that he
Like,
was crying.
yeah, whatever. Helmet,
So-
old man vibes, you know?
We watched this race, and the 2018 Priya would have been like, freaking idiot. Like, he crashed into a wall.
I
But-
did say that
Yeah,
initially.
he did. And
But then he got out because it is like honestly, and he feels the same way. It's like a stupid thing to do.
it is, but
But
like,
then he got out and you saw the emotion that he
'Cause-
was feeling.
think about this. Like, this is what I said to Cam. I'm like, my heart broke for him.
Yeah.
These are like not men. These are young boys. Like,
I-
they are young adults. Like, they just became adults. Some of them don't even have their driver's license. This is his first Formula One race. He's the first one out before he even hits lights out.
I think everybody felt for him.
I
I think
think
everybody did.
I think everyone did, and the people who didn't, who are just like so quick to be like pull it together, like from what I read, like he is an emotional driver, like he's an emotional person. He's also in love with Lewis Hamilton.
I know, which is
Which is
hilarious.
hilarious.
But I thought that was so sweet too that he's a huge, obviously as a driver, like a young driver, is a huge Lewis Hamilton fan, and Lewis Hamilton's dad comes over and like comforts him. It was a really beautiful
It was so sweet.
moment. But
It made like me so happy to see
I
that because that father has comforted Lewis through that recent loss of the world championship, right? We all saw that. But like all the ups and downs that Lewis has had to go through, and he's like a seasoned dad to a seasoned driver.
yeah.
So that seasoned dad to such a new rookie in his first race, I doubt Isaac's ever going to forget that moment of like compassion.
But the thing is like, when you're that emotional and that driven, no pun intended, like about about doing what you're doing, I think I think what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought as well when you played your air drums there. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, no, the kid, I think it says just like it's okay to like feel that way on it's his Formula 1 debut. He crashed out on the formation lap. That's heartbreaking. If a driver just got out of the car, I was like, yeah, whatever, team can fix it, whatever, it happens and on to the next race. I'd be like,
Stroll.
this guy's kind of rude.
Lance Stroll.
But the fact that he was heartbroken and just so sad that he did that and he's felt so bad for the team, it just shows how badly he wants to be in F1 as well. And when you have that kind of drive, all he has to do is learn how to transform that into performance and hard work, and he'll do really, really well. So I'm really I'm interested to see how he does.
I hope he does well because there's some drivers that just see it on TV and then they can't put it together. Like he was just trying to warm up his tires. He sees it all the time how like drivers do it.
Yeah.
Man, I would be the worst Formula 1 driver. I'd be like, I'm going to go through the chicane.
But how many of them did that too?
So many. And I think that was very, like you said it was very comforting, I think, because he saw Science come out. He saw all the rookies spin out. You know what I mean? He saw all the rookies except for
Most of them,
Antonelli.
yeah.
Like basically be out of the race. So I think that was like very comforting to him. Not that obviously you want to see other people suffer the same loss of a drive that you had. I think it was also horrific because he did not start. It wasn't even a DNF. It was a DNS. Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
that's
so
hard.
heartbreaking. Like, why do we have different
But is that
names?
really considered your F1 debut then? I don't know.
No, because you didn't debut, babe. Like
Yeah.
you didn't get out there.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Didn't see the lights go out. So.
Yeah. We'll try again next week in China.
Yeah, but it's hard to. I get it. It's hard to like deal with that. But like, dude, you're just starting. You just got into F1.
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot more.
You're not with
lot
Christian
more
Horner,
races,
so
yeah.
they're not going to trigger.
It's just
pull the
one
trigger
race
on
in
you.
one season. He's probably going to be there for a few seasons for sure.
Yuki probably was
So-
like swearing him out on the radio.
God.
Still can't believe Stroll finished. Anyways,
I
that's
know.
just I
What else, dude?
got nothing. I got nothing.
I'm excited
I'm
for
so
the
excited
season.
for China.
Let's see what happens. It was a long break, man. I'm glad F1 is finally back. It felt long.
Yeah, it felt long this year.
You know.
Yeah. We were talking yesterday for a minute. We both had the same thought at the same time where we were like, wouldn't it be nice if like instead of having a super long winter break, they just like took like a little bit more of a gap off between races? And then Cam and I were both like, oh wait, they're human. Like they need time with their families. Like we can't just be like, dance, fucking dance, you know, like drive for us. Like it's not even that the climates are obviously such that like, you know, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, hey, they got lives.
Yeah,
to
they've
get
got
back
like
to.
lives and families and stuff like that they don't see like for 20 to 30 weeks out of the year anyways.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, while all of us are like crying at home those 3 months out of the year, they're like living their entire life during those 3 months.
Dudes, like even the drivers who have families, like they see them like a couple times a week and then they're back out and then a couple times a week.
barely see
It's
them. I mean,
crazy.
like if you have kids and stuff like that, like
Unless
you're
they bring
not-
them to the races.
I mean, but like young kids maybe, but like your kids are in school and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like you're not seeing that. But then again, your drivers are usually on the younger side and don't have families and
yeah.
yeah. Wild.
It's a long awkward pause.
Yeah.
Anything
A
else?
lap.
What do you think?
Long awkward pause. That's what we shorten it to.
Wow.
A lap.
Any anything else?
No.
No.
Sign us out.
Where you didn't even look at your notes.
I didn't have any. They were all up here.
Yeah, then what?
I was so excited for this podcast that I didn't make notes. I like every time I would sit down to put like my fingers to the notepad, I would just like I would just I couldn't like contain the excitement. Cam's crashing.
Yeah, I'm super hungry. We have a lot of races coming though.
Let's
It
do it.
should be really fun.
I'm
Can't
excited.
wait.
I'm so excited for China.
Make
We'll
sure
see
you
next
guys
week.
subscribe to us on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. I upload to Spotify, so that's where the full length is. I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you're listening to Spotify, you'll hear it.
And if
I'm
you're
not gonna like put this as a clip, but anyway, yeah, subscribe on everything, follow us, share,
ask questions,
yeah.
please.
Let us
And
know
if you know why Carlos Sainz didn't sign with anybody else, please tell me, put me out of my misery, because it's something that keeps me up. I have a Reddit thread that I go through every week or so, and there are new like theories every single day. I need to read the thread tonight.
Reddit again. There we go. Somebody please
I'm on
tell
the app
her
now.
so we can't go down.
I'm on the
this-
app now. I'm not even just like on the desktop version. I have the app now.
Who uses a desktop version of Reddit?
Oh, I used to.
Nerd alert. Anyway, yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to everything. And China is next weekend, right? Is it upcoming?
I want to say it like Trump so bad, but I shouldn't.
No, it's okay. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we will
See you
catch
next week.
on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't do the. Don't. You look like an alien. You look like
How
an
I say
alien.
bye.
But you do it like a claw. Like
unless
bye.
like people in the UK see it, and it doesn't. You know.
Is that a king sign?
Huh?
Is that a
No,
king
it's like fu.
Oh.
Yeah, shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Gonna have to edit that.
That's where all of our freaking followers are.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Remember our friend who's in England?
Oh yeah.
We shout him out.
Sorry.